poppin', boys, girls, and everybody in between otherwise. My name's Adri and welcome back to LifeHatesAdri. I have made the best, worst decision of my entire life. Over the last few days, I decided to watch none other than the train wreck known as Tiger King. To sum it up in what is an impossible way, it's basically following the life of this zoo owner who owns like a bunch of exotic animals, Joe Exotic, and his crazy life and feuds and all that, and how he ended up in prison. I have watched some crazy crap in my life. Like, I have watched all seasons of Jersey Shore. I witnessed Jenna Marbles turn her hair into a Hot Wheels track, and I watched rich white women from Beverly Hills fight in Amsterdam in a public restaurant in front of Yolanda Hadid. Yes, that is a Real Housewives reference. Shout out to Chrissy and Nick. I have seen a lot of crazy stuff, but this show has to be the most batshit dumpster fire crazy I have ever seen, and I don't think anything weirder exists. So I decided to take on the impossible task of ranking everyone from Tiger King. It's hard because nobody's likable. I mean, I'm gonna try and be nice because I recognize that they're like real people, they're not characters or actors or anything, they're genuine people with feelings and stories and whatever. But most of these people either abused humans, animals, or both, so who cares? I'm definitely gonna spoil the show, but even if I lay out everything that has happened for you, it still wouldn't make sense, so really there are no spoilers. So now we're gonna start with the ranking, and at the very, very bottom is the bottom feeder, shit hell, pure evil tier, and that is home for two people and two people only. Jeff and Carole Baskin. Jeff is straight up just a psychopath. Like, he takes tigers and puts them into luggage and pets them and brings them up his hotel to bring in girls. He beat up his wife. Even at the end, his wife or girlfriend or whatever Lauren is pregnant. He wants to get a hot nanny for the woman that is carrying his child. What the fuck? More than that, he also framed Joe. I refuse to believe that that wasn't a setup. He definitely set up Joe. And then we have Carole Baskin. Now, I was really debating on whether putting her with all the other zoo owners in another tier, but I thought long and hard, and Carole Baskin is worse. She, like every other zoo owner, or whatever the fuck they're called, in this documentary, owns exotic animals, keeps these, big, beautiful, wild creatures in cages. You shouldn't be doing that. Call me Peter or whatever, but I don't believe you should do that. And more than that, she pretends that she's innocent in all of this. She pretends that she's not just as bad as them. So that's why she's terrible. Also, she definitely killed her husband. Then we have the shit tier, which is just slightly above this pure psychopath evil tier. In this tier, we have Joe Exotic, Doc Antle, Tim Stark, I think his name was, and the Cuban mafia dude who owned a bunch of exotic animals too. I did not bother going back to check their names. I did not want to rewatch this at all. I don't believe in captivity for these creatures. They should not be in cages. That's why all of these guys are in here. More than that, Joe and Doc manipulated and abused their employees. Oh my god, what am I doing? They both ran cults. Doc decided to go after young, vulnerable women and prey on them and bring them in as his employees and whatever else they did. He made them work ridiculous hours. I think they said from like 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. or whatever, and he would pay them $100-something a week. Don't know how many laws that's against. But more than that, he also abused them while they were there. He made one get implants or whatever. Also Joe. Joe preyed on drug-addicted kids because Travis and Dylan were kids when they met him. They were 19. And he would feed their addictions in order to receive love from them. Whether they were straight, bisexual, gay or not, I don't know. And then he controlled them after. I also believe Alan should be here. Alan the hitman. Mainly because he lied on the stand to get Joe in trouble. Like, that's straight up perjury. We heard the call where he told Jeff or whatever, where he was basically being coaxed by Jeff into lying. He didn't lie all on his own. This was not his plan, but he did take part in sending Joe to prison. Here we have the meh tier, and it's very small. There was only two people, and that is Howard Baskin and Garretson. Howard Baskin, he's basically Carol's puppy. He's on a leash with her. Literally. He helps her around the park, he helps her be a hypocrite, but he doesn't, I don't think, do it all because he wants to. I think he wants to please her for the most part. But yeah, so he's in the meh tier. Also, there's Garretson. I'm kind of confused about Garretson because yes, he did take part in being an informant and sending Joe away. And yes, I'm pretty sure he belongs in some shady illegal business, but he did admit on camera that he thinks and he knows that Jeff set Joe up. So good on you. Should have said that in court. but good on you. Then we have the slightly higher than meh tier. I think in here belongs all of Joe's friends and employees, as well as the friends and employees of all the other zoo owners. And they took part in keeping these animals in captivity, but they weren't necessarily the masterminds behind all this. Here we have the okay tier. I think in here belongs all of Joe's husbands, as well as Doc's wives and Jeff's whatevers. I think that they were all basically abused and manipulated into the relationships that they were in, all in different ways. Why are you so bright? You're never this bright. But yeah, I don't think that they did anything bad. They also didn't do anything good, really. They were just victims of terrible, terrible relationships. In here, I also put Dial, Joe's campaign manager. I really do think he's a good person, and he was just doing his job with being Joe's campaign manager, but his job did enable Joe to be insane. I also think Kirkham belongs in here. He was just doing his job. He's a reality TV producer. He wanted to produce reality TV. In that, it enabled Joe to be crazy. He built up Joe's Tiger King persona, but I don't think it was out of his way bad. And here we have the good tier, and I can't believe that there is a good tier, but there's a good tier in all this. Firstly, in this good tier, we have Saf. If you don't know, because they never clarified it, Saf is a trans man. He goes by pronouns he, him. They completely got that wrong the whole time. I heard Joe call Saf her several times. And on top of that, Saf got his arm ripped off by a tiger and went back to work 6 days later because he didn't want people to think the animals were bad. That is so badass. 100% belongs in good tier. Up next in the good tier, we have Joe's mom. We don't know much about her, but Joe manipulated and financially abused her. Don't hurt your mom. She was the only one who liked you. Being defensive over his mom. And after this, I think in the good tier belongs the camera crew and the directors, because oh my god, if I had to follow these people around and record this chaos, I would have jumped out a window. How did they just sit there and record and listen to this crap and not want to be like, what are you doing? I would have lost my mind. So thank you to them for not losing their minds. Also in the good tier is the law enforcement. I think the law enforcement in this did a fairly good job. I mean, I think they were wrong about Joe's conviction when it came to the murder for hire charge. I really don't think he's guilty of that. And finally, we have the God tier. There's only 2 aspects of this tier. In this tier is all of the animals. Every animal in any of their zoos, homes, wherever is in the God tier, because they were the real losers in all this. How is the backlight brighter than the 2 spotlights I have on me? And the only other person in this God tier is me and all of the other viewers, because really, we sat through some shit. It still amazes me that this is real. These are real people. This is a real story. This actually happened and is still happening. My head genuinely hurts from all of the gunslinging, crackhead, animal kidnapping bullshit that went on. I deserve to be in the God tier for this. And that's the end of my list. If there's anyone I missed, please let me know in the comments below. And if you don't agree, or if you do agree with my rankings, also let me know in the comments below what corrections you may or may not want to make. All my social medias are in the description box below. Go stalk me, go harass me, go follow me. Do it! Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Stay safe, stay home, and I will see you next week.